All right. So one thing I want to show you about this tool is that there's this microphone here. Okay. At any point in your direct observation, you can actually select this microphone, and you can record an event. Okay, so you can record an event, and I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I'm sitting here recording an event. I'm going to go ahead and stop it, and at any point in time, I can record that and save it. Okay. So when would you record an event? Well, you'd record an event when something happens and you may have a question and you may not be certain about how to categorize something, so you might want to record a note or a memo to the research team. So there's a number of reasons for why you might actually record a message to the research team. That recording gets attached to the key that you pushed. And so that'll be attached to this specific key, and they'll be able to look at your timeline and see those comments and take notes from them. Okay, so we basically covered the location screen, jumping back to the location screen with this key, the memo key or the voice memo key here, being able to attach a voice memo to a key when you have a question or an issue or something you want to flag. The other thing that you can do is you can actually flag an activity as well, and you can do that by hitting this key right here. This allows you to flag an activity. When you flag an activity, all it does is just marks the activity in the record, and so it will help the research team. You know, it might help them to see something that may have occurred, but it just gives you the ability to kind of flag something in case you wanted to highlight, you know, some part of your direct observation. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to tell you is that the activity screen actually is bigger than one screen. So typically there are two screens that exist on this activity screen. And on the second screen here, we have these counters. These counters are not timed. Okay, so if you click on a counter, for example, if I admit a patient, it just counts that as an event, and it inserts it into the record for when that patient admission took place. If the nurse discharges a patient, we can select that and it counts it, and it puts that in the record. You can click these keys at any point in time in your data collection. Okay, so you're not limited by when you actually click these keys. The other thing I wanted to tell you about these two down here at the bottom, these interruption keys. This interruption key collects some additional information. So let's say, for example, that nurse is working and they're in the patient room like they currently are, and they're doing a hand washing event. So I'm going to watch that hand washing event. I'm going to record that. And as they complete that hand washing event, someone walks up to them and interrupts them. Okay, so I'm going to record that interruption by clicking the interrupted by somebody key. And here I can basically record who that person was that did the interruption. I can record how the interruption was done. And I can also record why the interruption occurred. Okay. So we get a little bit more information on the interruptions that are occurring here with these keys. All right. When you enter any of these counters here, you're just gonna, and you're done, you're gonna come over here and just keep going right where you left off. Okay. So, you know, the last thing we did was hand washing. Let's say at the end of this interruption key, we're going to select that the nurse was communicating with part of the care team. We'll call this a interdiscipline communication. Okay, and now the nurse is going off to do other work. All right, let's say the nurse goes from here into the nourishment station or the kitchen. So to do that, we're going to watch the nurse as they leave the patient room. As soon as they walk out of the patient room, we're going to hit the location key. Okay, we're going to observe them. We don't know where they're going, so we have to observe them. As soon as the nurse walks into the kitchen or pantry, we're going to go ahead and click that kitchen pantry screen. And this gives us the list of activities the nurse is doing in the kitchen or pantry. and we're gonna charge this time to walking. So as soon as they enter that kitchen or pantry, we're going to charge that time to walking, and now we can record what they're doing while they're actually in this screen in the kitchen or pantry. Okay. So in this case, they're doing we'll say they're doing a food or beverage activity. When they complete that and they begin, basically they're going to complete this activity and start walking out of the patient room. So we're going to record that food beverage activity. I'm going to say RN not required. This may have been able to be done by some other resource. Okay. And again, they're leaving the kitchen pantry. So I'm going to jump back over to the location screen and I'm going to observe where they're going. Let's assume they go back to a patient room. So as soon as they walk in that patient room, I'm going to click on patient room. I'm going to charge that time to walking. Okay. And then I'm going to observe what they're doing. And as they're doing it, I'm going to go ahead. In this case, they're doing an ADL. And that ADL is going to be setting up meals. So we're going to watch them set that meal up. At the end of that, we're going to hit this key right here. Okay. Some of these keys have additional information. For example, ADLs, it asked the nurse if an RN was required to do that, or could this have been done by a CNA or somebody else. In this case, we're going to say the RN is not required.